Hello, everybody. My name is Maggie Dillon, and I am a textile portrait artist. My work always involves portraiture, and I love celebrating the ordinary and serene moments and making them special. My piece, Miss Trains, is the piece that's included in Intersect Chicago, and it is based on a fortuitous moment in a pub in Dover, England on a family vacation. So after exploring the sights, we missed our train back to London. It was an hour to the next train, so we settled into a small pub. And sitting at the table with my family, I looked to the left and found the most adorable older man sitting alone with his Guinness. At the end of the hour, he stood up and boarded the same train with us back to London. So 12 years later, I decided to recreate this serene and sweet memory. I generally work quite large. My pieces average about 40 inches wide. So this is me next to Miss Trains at an exhibition at the Ringling College of Art and Design in 2018, right after I created this piece. My work is created using my layering technique and many, many pins. I don't use any fusible or paint to create any of my work. So once I have the cut fabric piece where I want it, I pin about every 1/4 of an inch around the edges, and I machine raw edge applique. I sew once I've got about 5 layers or until I run out of pins. So I began creating textile art as a student at Flagler College, and that started in my junior year. So towards the end of the art program, my professor encouraged that a mark on a surface counted towards his class. I had been working at a local quilt shop within walking distance of campus. And so being surrounded by beautiful batik fabrics all the time, I started experimenting with collage, and through trial and error created my first pieces that I actually included in my senior portfolio. So this is little me with some of my first pieces. They're very colorful compared to my current body of work. I don't consider myself an artist because I've earned a fine art degree. I consider myself an artist because I feel the urge and the need to create. I'm completely grateful for my time spent as a student because it helped me develop my artistic voice that may have been different or may not have developed at all. On the Edge of Darkness is one of my earlier pieces. I created this in 2011 as a response to a call for entry. The original image was found in a thrift shop, and I changed the background to a night scene. So you can actually see on the bottom right there was the original photo, and you can see it's a very generalized Photoshop edit, but that's how I created that piece. I work exclusively in batik fabric, generally with little pattern, although this piece does feature some pattern used to aid the transition between the blues to the yellow moon. And her face is definitely more implied than my more recent work. Summer of 1937 was another black and white image, also found in a thrift shop. So these 3 women were part of a larger scene, and I zoomed in to create a more intimate portrait of a friendly outing. The image was very, very small, and so many of the details were lost when I edited to create my pattern, but I just loved the way they were all kind of clustered together. So influenced by the nostalgia of old film, my work is created in a subdued palette of grays, dusty greens, blues, and browns. Most of my source imagery is from black and white photos, and it's fun to imagine the colors. And in doing so, it gives me the control to unify my body of work. The common color scheme and subject matter creates a feeling of calm, which is very, it's a big contrast to real life, right? So Lincolnville Revisited is a special piece that is very dear to me. One early morning on my way to the Jacksonville Quilt Festival, I was driving through Lincolnville, which is a historic part of St. Augustine where I went to college. I passed by an older man sitting outside his home, reading his Bible. It was probably 6 a.m. and it was kind of misty outside. And I couldn't stop thinking about that serene moment throughout the day. So I Googled source images, and I pieced him together as similarly as I could remember. So his body is made up probably of 12 different images, and I just pieced them together just as similarly as I could make him feel. But the photo of his house is actually from Google. I just fell in love with the old-timey feel of everything. And I actually branched outside of my normal color scheme to actually represent his house the way that he had it painted. So I created this piece originally in 2011. That's the one on the bottom right. And it actually sold, and I missed him. So what I did was I re-edited the source image and I created it again. And it is in my permanent collection. He will not leave my side. It's just a special memory from where I went to college and where this all started. So it's very special to me. So Illumination of Grace is another piece created in response to a call for entry. She was part of a much larger scene as well, and I had pulled her out and placed her on the car in the woods. I've created a more contemplative moment, and you can almost hear the silence, just the birds and maybe the rustle of a few windblown leaves. And this last piece, Summer Tomatoes, celebrates my great-grandfather and his prized tomato garden in the backyard. The size of this piece was completely determined by the size of his face. So I wanted to be sure to maintain the appropriate amount of detail to represent him properly. So each person I create has a face that is a minimum of 4 inches wide, or about the size of the palm of my hand, because I want to be true to them and represent all of the wrinkles and the age that they have earned. So this source image was a photo of a photo. So it took a lot of Photoshop magic and a head swap from my parents' photo album, or my parents' wedding photo album, to create the pattern for this piece. So I'm very active on social media, and you can find me on Facebook and Instagram at Maggie Dillon Designs. I'm constantly posting my works in progress. You can find out about the courses I teach, sign up for my newsletter, and find out where to see an exhibition.